You know, it was a game that we can go back and we got beat in every phase. They won it up front. They basically controlled the line of scrimmage. They ran the ball very well. We could not run the ball very effectively. And, you know, with that in mind, it just kind of compounded some of the situation. As far as offensive situation, when we were not able to run the football, obviously Peter Anderson was out. Well, very opening kickoff, Isaac Salazar was out. Shortly thereafter, Hayden Bollinger was out. Then we had basically all of our starting receivers by the time we got in second half were out of the game, so we had a lot of new faces in there. So we had some guys step up and we did some good things, but we're not able to do it on any kind of consistent basis. We did some good things defensively, but again, we were not able to do it on a consistent basis, so give Colorado Mines credit. They played like a team that is in the top 10 of the nation. That's exactly the way they played.
And then looking ahead to Fort Lewis this weekend, another night game at home.
Well, Fort Lewis is a good football team. And all you got to do is look around the conference and kind of see how the scores go. And right now, Mines is kind of sorting themselves out as a top team. I mean, they handled us, they handled Pueblo, and they've kind of handled everybody that they've played. But everybody else is kind of in a standpoint that there have been some tight games. You take a look at Fort Lewis a couple weeks ago. They beat Shadron. They scored 3 defensive touchdowns in that particular game. You know, then they turn around the very next week and get beat by Black Hills, who Shadron had beat. And then they come back again now this last week, and they kind of pretty well handled Adams. Who's a good football team. And so Adams just 2 weeks ago was a team that beat Western, that beat us. So we're going to have our hands full, and we know that the only team we really control is still ourselves. And so our focus is going to be becoming better at the things that we do.
Questions?
Injuries obviously are huge right now. I mean, you look around and it's one of those Josh can he go, you know, getting a daily, hourly update. I mean, it's just, what extra problems does that pose?
Well,
What
number
extra
one,
opportunity maybe?
Josh is probably the busiest person on staff. Last week it was kind of a mash ward afterward and stuff, and so it's a situation that, you know, we're having guys work to get themselves ready. They're getting their treatments. They're doing the things they need to do. But the other thing is we've got guys that got to step up, and some of the younger guys, you know, they're getting better as they get some of those reps. They know and they understand the expectations of this program are still going to remain very, very high, and we've got some great leaders in the program that are helping them understand it. You got to step up when your time is here. That's what you got to do. It's a matter of accepting a role and moving forward. And so, you know, I think our guys are understanding that. And again, part of it is part of their responsibility is to get in a training room, get the treatments, get healed up, and get ready to go. And so I think we'll be ready to go. We may have a few guys that are going to be out, but we'll also have other guys ready to step in and take their place.
Aaron, after Hidden went down, can you just tell me, you know, how you kind of picked up the offense and tried to get them going and kind of create some sort of momentum, some consistency on the offense, especially with some of the wide receivers dropping out and injuries piling up?
Yeah, the biggest thing I try to do is just do my job. I try to stay mostly consistent with my reads, which I need to get better at, of course. We did some good things, we did some bad things, but I think everybody doing their job, me doing my job is what's going to make us a great team. And not doing too much and not doing too less, because once you try to do too much, then that's when things start to fail too.
Was that probably the best defense that you've seen, Colorado Mines there?
It was a good defense. I wouldn't say it's the best defense. I think they just are highly sound. They make very few mistakes, and they know how to communicate and make their checks, and I think that's what we need to get better at doing too.
Was it a little bit frustrating not being able to have some consistency on offense? Obviously, running the ball was a little bit of a struggle to get going, and you know, with that can cause some problems with passing the ball too as well.
Yeah, it can get frustrating, but I don't look at it like that. I kind of look at it like life. You know, things happen, so what's next and how can we rebound from it?
Was there anything different that Colorado Mines was doing that might not have been in the scouting report?
No, actually, everything that was in the scouting report was what they did in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They are very simple, very defensively sound, like I said before, and we just kind of got worked in a few areas that we need to get better at, and we will do that.
Okay.
So the offensive line has been young anyway, and now it's young and you've got new guys rotating in. I think Ty's the only guy who's been there since really day one.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to get a few extra reps with some of the linemen this week and kind of getting them ready to go.
Yeah, I think everybody on the team understands now that it could be your day any day. So I think everybody needs to execute and really take practice seriously and knowing what your assignments are. And I think over time, I think our offensive line will be extremely good.
They're pups.
But we were good. We were good. I didn't get hit too much last Saturday too, so it's not like it was horribly bad. I only got sacked twice, so.
Darian, on the defensive end, it's, again, a lot of guys injured, a lot of guys rotating in. Against Fort Lewis, what are you seeing that is the key to kind of slowing them down?
Something that we're going to try to really focus on is just being sound. We have a lot of new guys playing, a lot of new faces. Justin White's coming in, been a great freshman for us playing with the corner. Devontae's been good, other corner for us, me and CCO being back. I mean, we only got, 5 games under our belts as a unit together, DB-wise. So as a whole defense, we got a lot of new moving pieces when coming in with injuries and things happening. So we just have to get back to the basics, focus on what we can control. Still acknowledge that Fort Lewis has some athletes on this side of the ball that we need to take care of, but just really control what we can control and just being sound in our techniques and formations.
Yeah, Mines is one of those offenses that they just kind of take what you give them, and then they wait for you guys, okay, secondary's coming up against the run, and then that's when they kind of hurt you guys deep. Just one of those things where you gamble and...
Yes. Colorado Mines, great team, great competition year in, year out whenever we play them. This year they really took advantage of our outside. Like, we've been struggling with the toss lately. The outside of our defense on the edges have been tough to cover, tough to come in and make plays. So that's something that they took advantage of. Lured us in with the great running back that they have. Got bad eyes, went over the top a couple of times on us. So learning from Mines, we just got to be better tacklers coming in against Fort Lewis. And like I said, just being sound and making sure we control what we can control.
With some of the younger guys, younger DBs and stuff, were there moments where you kind of talked on the sidelines and said, hey, this is where they're beating us, or maybe back off or close up, or is that something that you saw yourself kind of taking over in the game?
Definitely. I mean, not to just really harp on the younger guys. I mean, they play tremendously well for us. That's like Justin White. He's been making big plays for us. He's had a couple of interceptions this year. Devontae is really a great cover guy for us. Primarily focuses on not making any mistakes, no matter what age you are. If you're a freshman and sophomore, I'm here, fifth year senior, so making mistakes. We just got to continue to harp on those and continue to get better and grow from those. Not necessarily get down on each other, but continue to uplift and make sure that we just got to take one play at a time, especially from the DB. Like, you're going to get beat. Just got to have short memory and just keep playing.
With the injuries, kind of what Aaron was saying, and how important practice is now, do you see that with some of the different guys that are coming in and how quick they're going to have to pick it up to get right into the game and play?
Definitely. You have to stay on your toes. Like we've all talked about up here, you never know what's going to be your play to get in and make plays. So when it comes to practice time, we have to really be locked in, be focused. Everybody has to be mentally sharp, making sure that they're perfectly sound, assignment-wise, and just really focusing on the task at hand, knowing where you're supposed to fit, your depth, where you're supposed to line up, just little simple things. The game of inches. I mean, again, you never know what's going to be your last play. You never know when you're going to be jumping in there. So you just have to be sound and be aware of where you are.
Coach, this was a game that was decided by this was the first game that wasn't decided by less than 7 points, which is kind of new for you guys. But how did the team handle the game mentally throughout?
Well, like I said, give Mines credit, but I think the game score got a little bit more out of hand. They scored right before the end of the half. They also scored right at the end of the game and stuff. We gave them a touchdown. We were on the field offensively. And so I think that it was still a situation that if you take what these guys are talking about, our guys played hard. And we did a lot more good things than we did negative things. The negative things stood out on some of the stuff. But I think when you really take a look at it, it's one game. And I've never been a person, you don't put a whole lot of stock into one game, win or lose. What we try and focus on, and when we came back Monday and we started visiting with the guys about the game on Saturday, was just simply a standpoint: are we playing as well as we can play? And that we don't control the opponent, and that's what these guys have already talked about. And that's really what our players have really bought into, is understanding that there are certain things we control. If we stay assignment sound, if we give great effort, we're going to be just fine. And so rather than worrying about the result, we focus a whole lot more on the process. And the process is a day-to-day process. It's a play-to-play process in a game. And just like Darian was talking about, we've got a very good and very sound defense. And we just have to have guys that stay focused on the little things at hand. Same thing with the receivers. There were a couple times we had some receivers break some routes. You know what? That happens when all of a sudden you're putting new guys in and they haven't really had game experience. And you know, they're maybe even playing a different position what they've been practicing a majority of the time. But that's where the practice reps become so important, and that's where guys have to internalize the standpoint of how important every rep in practice really is. But we've got guys that are buying into it, and I think if anybody is writing this football team off, I don't think they understand the heart and the mind and spirit of this group. They've overcome a lot of situations in game things. They've overcome a lot of things in life that we deal with and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, as a coach, I love coaching these guys, and this is one of the teams I probably enjoy coaching more than any that I have, because of their situation of understanding that we are continuing to move ahead, and we have a really, really good football team here, and you're going to see it on the field.